Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
It's been a day or two.
It's
Did you what, have you done any I think I committed a sin.
What'd you do?
I know that you and I had both talked about renting Black Widow and kind of having a thing together. But I went with my brother yesterday to the theater.
That's right. The wife and I saw it too. So.
Oh yeah, I didn't get a call. Did you go to the theater?
No, I thought
you rented it at home.
I think I told you that we were gonna see it.
Well, I think you'll think different when you look through all of your messaging apparatus and realize you didn't send me a message.
But Ben, I'm known to be an excellent communicator.
So
that's the thing people know about me.
So let's go with that. You didn't invite me, even though we talked about it. And I would have told you we were going to the movie theater, except that I knew you were working at that hour because we went to like a 2:00 showing. But I don't know that we want to talk about that today. I think we should save that for.
There's a lot actually to cover if you wanted to cover that too. Yeah,
we could do. I mean, I know your time is valuable.
It looks like I may not have had this conversation.
No. I know you didn't, but I was letting you.
I spoke to my secretary. She looked back in the logbook, and it looks like there's a page missing.
Giving you the head shake. Yeah. Oh, a page missing. Well. Yeah, because that would. Let's talk about that next week. We'll do that with the Loki finale.
Because you insist on Tomorrow War because you took notes.
Well, no, because I saw it, and we should talk about something other than it be just a Marvel fucking podcast.
Yeah, so you just want to do that and Loki?
Yeah.
Okay.
And whatever else, like my fucking. What else? I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I see a lot of shit every week. You do not. So.
I do not.
My brother and I, we both flexed our stockholder privileges with AMC and saw a reduced price showing, like a 30% off showing.
Oh my God!
At like a couple of proper Jews that we are.
I didn't want to say it.
Well, listen, stockholding has its being a stockholder has its.
I shall take my discount now.
Not only did we get a nice discount on a matinee showing, but also came with a free large popcorn that is refillable.
Seeing you two sharing.
Sharing. We're both stockholders.
Oh my God.
We each got our own bucket and a strap to
There's only one question to ask
behind
Ben.
our neck.
Like a trough? Okay. There's only one question. How many buckets, Ben?
Like a feed bag. Oh, just one. Now, here's the thing. Just one. But it was finished before the fucking actual movie started.
You got it refilled on the way out?
No, I'm not a hawser like that. We sat down. It was in these when I bought the tickets online. It was like 6 rows of seats. I'm like, there must be something wrong. This must be just the bottom area.
Yeah.
I haven't been to a theater in forever. There were like literally like only like 8 rows in this theater, and there were those fucking chairs that swing all the way back.
Oh, would you go to the one of 84 over here, Pine Island?
Whatever the AMC is in Weston.
Oh,
Weston 84. But but the address, it's like the Weston 8, but it's in Sunrise. But it's not. I don't know.
I think that's
it's kind of off 84. Yeah,
84. Yeah. That. Oh my God, that's the famous Pine Island Theater, man.
Not the Ridge Plaza one.
Oh no, not
that one. It's somewhere else. I to be honest, I wasn't looking where we were going.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was like looking at my phone while my chauffeur drove. But yeah. So in fairness, though, I got a large popcorn. I did not get a second one. But that whole bucket was finished before the movie was. I pretty much finished that whole bucket off like right at the last trailer, and then the Marvel logo with the famous music that I'm not going to even try to hum or sing.
How was
now.
it watching a movie in a theater?
It was very strange. I have not. I did go to a lot of movies in the theater before. We weren't allowed to go to movies in the theater, and now that we're back to being allowed to, I was like, was
it packed?
No, not really. I mean, there were people sat next to me, but because of these like comfy seat things, you had the double armrest between me and the stooge next to me.
Those are the best.
So
the best.
So we didn't even like. And we never even had a hint of elbow tapping, you know.
I love those seats, man.
Yeah.
Oh, they recline back. Oh.
Although you get the one squeaky seat, and that always goes to a kid that wants to keep moving his seat. So then you have to throw ideally you would throw some popcorn at his head to tell him stop, but I had fucking run out of popcorn. I'd eaten it all.
You'd eaten your ammunition.
So yeah. So we'll shelve that for now because I mean I feel like we're always like it's a spoiler show, and I just feel like for a theatrical release, maybe we want to let it give it more
slow
than
burn. That's fine.
I mean, give it more than 3 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or whatever.
All right, so we'll catch on that next episode.
Let's which one do you want to hit?
Well,
do you want to tell me first of all? Let's just go to the Amazon one because because I know I now made you watch it.
You did make me watch that movie,
but I assumed you would. I just assumed you.
I would. I honestly, quite honestly, before watching this movie, I could honestly tell you that if you had not told me to watch this movie, it would have just gotten lost in the shuffle of all the other shit that I haven't seen.
But I told you to watch it because everyone else told you not to. It wasn't that it got lost in the shuffle. You had already gotten bad press from close people.
Well, it was just look, it was just like a movie. It came out. Okay. Maybe I'll get around to seeing it. I don't watch.
That wasn't your pitch last week. Your shtick last week was
by the time
so and so said.
Well, it came out. You told me to watch it the day or the day after it came out. We were podcasting, and I said, "Oh, okay, I'll add it to the list," And but then all the reviews online and a couple friends had hit me up and hey, we've seen. I don't know. People hit me up have you seen this new movie? I'm like, the fuck, I don't watch new shit. If I'm watching something new, it's probably for this podcast. Other than the Marvel stuff that we organically talk about, I would not have gone out of my way to watch this movie. And it's not because of the negative, positive, or anything like that. It would have gotten lost in the slew of other stuff that's come out that I haven't seen.
It's a huge blockbuster with Chris Pratt in it. I mean,
it's
free on fucking Amazon.
It was an Amazon movie to me.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just an Amazon movie to me.
I think you're a weirdo.
I mean, it's not. And again, it's not a.
I think you have a bad attitude.
No,
really, I think this is what it all comes down to.
because this movie on Amazon came out and I wasn't first in line.
I think you have a bad attitude.
Oh, listen, I gave it an honest watch.
Yeah, all right, we'll get
so my feelings about it are honest. And honestly, considering I guess they signed the sequel, 3-4 days after it came out.
Yeah, they had monster numbers on it.
Yeah,
it was one of their.
I can't help, but and I don't know if this
remember that Amazon's still they're willing to spend $500 million or $1 billion making Lord of the Rings prequels and stuff. Remember that whatever they're spending on all of this doesn't compare to what they make. The loss on this or profit on their streaming.
It
doesn't compare to what they make on fucking. The shit they mail to people every day.
The numbers that are important are being rewritten right now with the way streaming is basically taken over cable, taken over.
I mean, with Amazon and Netflix, it's that did well.
Well, with the pandemic, streaming,
we could make another
streaming took over theaters.
Yeah,
so streaming's kind of rebuilding the model.
But my point is, if their streaming model with or without a theater chain.
Yes.
So the only way to gauge whether to do more of something or less of something is by how many people watched it.
I mean, none of those numbers matter to me because it's a thing.
Not to you, but to them.
Because to me, it's just another piece of content available. That's what it amounts to, another piece of content. Good or bad, it's just another piece of content that a lot of people they'll have a surge in viewership. They'll have a surge in people signing up, to Amazon Prime. So, yeah, they'll make that money organically, but it's marketing. All these things are marketing. They're just another thing that you can experience on whatever fucking app you're, Netflix or all that shit. It's all the same. I mean,
I feel like it's not marketed to anyone that doesn't already. It seems like if I didn't have Amazon already, I really wouldn't know about a lot of these things.
After watching the movie, I wonder who it was marketed towards. But that's only because it's it takes all these things and these really great ideas from all these other sci-fi franchises, and it's they're in the movie. I don't know, man. Like what I was saying. This is how I feel. I feel as knowing now about the sequel. I feel as if every act of this movie was its own movie, and if it had been a trilogy of the 3 acts in movie form, you would have really kind of cared about these characters a little bit more. Because, and it's not on anyone's fault. There's a lot the fuck going on in this movie, man.
Well, like the funny. Was he a scientist or geologist?
I couldn't stand that fucking guy. I was like, what a fucking...
Really?
Oh, we checked it off the list, casting.
See, I thought he was funny. And I'm like, oh, that's a shame that they took him out of the second 2/3 of the movie. And then brought him back in at the end, and he was just like, I hid, and then well, I guess he was back at the end. When he accidentally killed him.
I legitimately thought the movie was over when he got back. And that the sequel's going to deal with... I didn't know. I had no concept of time when I was watching the movie. I just remember going like, wow.
Well, you would think. Here's my...
That was pretty climactic.
Here's my... my take on that is that... what is that? Is someone getting a Facebook call or something? Is that you? Maybe that's me.
That's you, buddy.
No, someone.
You hear it though, right?
Maybe it's one of the. You know what? It's so funny. It's probably one of those idiots in the cars downstairs. So they're sitting in their car talking on their car phone, and it's so fucking loud that we're hearing it up one story and through our fucking window here. It happens. I'll hear conversations like both sides of a car conversation because they have it blasting through the speakers. But then they'll also have a window down or the car door open or something. Anyway, yes. Because I think here was the flaw in... the major flaw was that I got that like they had this whole great unique idea of like stealing from the thing and that the aliens...
Yeah.
They came in a ship, but it came 1 million years ago and it was in the ice. I thought it would have been better... to have tied it in more with the guy that... I knew volcanoes were going to come into play. But I thought maybe if that other scientist that went with him was also involved in that field a little more, or whatever his field was. I forget what it even was. But something like that. They weren't looking in like geological tunnels or something.
No.
But my thought was that if they had the thing to kill them, the serum, or whatever you want to call it, if his daughter had developed it, we're jumping right to the end of this movie instead of starting at the beginning. But
it's just a time travel movie,
that's
though.
True. So we jump to the end. Then we'll flash back to the beginning. You would think just mass produce the fuck out of it, and when they start popping out, you're ready for them.
I will say this.
Although I guess preventing it before. Having to fight a war is ideal.
The moment that he wakes up from coming back for the future, that was where the movie should have fucking ended. Because after that, it literally felt like everyone's standing around and they're trying to figure out what to do next, and they kind of go, they have the epiphany moment of, oh well, if they're in the future, they're here somewhere. We'll find. I don't know, man.
Well, they had to find a reason to use his dad.
Listen, by the way, J.K. Prison Jack Simmons.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, he's done a show.
He's terrifying. He's terrifying.
And he didn't even look like that in that.
My God. I look back to the movie Whiplash. I'm like, he'd have beat that boy's ass. Whiplash, by the way, awesome movie.
I don't remember what Whiplash even was.
That was him and Miles Teller, and it was about music. Miles Teller was a drummer.
I didn't see
it. And it was like I need to be in the prestigious thing, and J.K. Simmons is like, yeah, I demand like perfection, and it's fucking he's intense. There's a point in that movie he's like, okay, like just all right. Turns around and then starts fucking flinging furniture at Miles Teller. just starts throwing chairs and desks and shit, and just goes fucking nuts. It's a fantastic movie.
I have some notes.
Oh my god, he wrote them on the back of a
just garbage
mail.
paper. I mean, I'm not saying the movie was great.
Was that a credit card application?
It was no, it was a bank statement.
10-4.
Came in the mail. I didn't say the movie was great. I had fun watching it.
I did,
I
was exhausted after he got back from the future because I'm like, how do you top that moment?
The effects in this were top notch. Like,
oh yeah,
compared to like let's say a Jupiter's whatever that looked like it got
those aliens.
The D level budget.
Awesome.
Yeah,
the aliens were incredible.
Aliens were good. It was fun watching. I would watch it again just to be landmark hunting because most of that. When they first get dropped, it's in Miami.
Yeah.
Which is where we're from.
By the way.
It's South Florida here.
That's the best version of Miami I've ever seen in a movie.
All right.
Hey, I've lived here. I can say that.
The third act, everything kind of falls into place real conveniently.
A little too fucking conveniently.
Except they have to fight. I was like going to argue at one point... that I was going to complain about the aliens, how they're just like animals, but how did they get here in a spaceship? But apparently they weren't.
They covered that, yeah.
That flew in the spaceship.
Yeah.
I thought another interesting way to have done it would have been like, there was just a wormhole opened and it was like, it just opened at a certain point in time. But they needed a mystery to be able to do the third act of the movie. We don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They just suddenly appear one day.
I just don't understand. I was like, I really thought it felt like a fourth act. The third act felt like a fourth act. The first two acts felt like a complete movie, and then it was like, well, let's just go for broke here, and they just kept going like it's like a wrestling match that should have ended fucking 5 falsies ago.
Don't think I did not notice that whatever fucking Jets fan made this movie, they took not one but 2 shots.
Oh my god, are we gonna talk about
on the Dolphins?
On the Dolphins, yeah.
In this movie, made 2 like Dolphins jokes about
they were good jokes
that they're not like but it's obviously from a bitter rival whose team isn't as even as successful as we have been in the past. Like a Jets fan who hasn't won anything since 1969.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So when the aliens first appear, they're genuinely terrifying. Like, genuinely. Like, we had the lights off.
They just buzzsaw you.
Yeah, we had the lights off, and I wasn't, like, I was kind of paying attention to the movie, but, it's like, this is what really the aliens legitimately what drew me to the movie. Because I felt like everything before it was like, it was like Starship Troopers. It was like being forced. Like, let's condense what should have been a full movie.
There did have some Starship Troopers vibes.
Yeah, and let's shove it forward so we can get to the aliens. And I'll tell you this: when you get to the aliens, like that first reveal and that first the stairwell, that fight scene, that's fucking intense, man.
Yeah.
Like I was fucking wow. I remember looking over at the wife and just being like, holy fuck, like it had a real aliens vibe to it, and I was really digging it. By the end of the movie, Chris Pratt is fist fighting an alien, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. They start off as like buzzsaws, and at the end he's literally punching it in the face.
Once you learned your adversary,
I suppose. I
almost
don't want to give you that.
And it wasn't overwhelming numbers and running through a stairwell. He was,
Was that the same? Was that the same queen that killed his daughter in the future?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
that's what I was assuming. And he's getting revenge for it.
Oh, I don't
like
know.
avenging his daughter from the future. It's got a real end game, like real like a Scarlet Witch. Like, you took everything from me, and the alien's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think if anyone had even thought of that, they would have put like a distinctive marking on it or something.
Yeah,
like we know it's the queen.
I mean, it's pretty blatant, all the sci-fi franchises and ideas they stole, and I'm cool with it.
A lot of these movies.
So this is what this movie really felt to me. It felt to me like a sci-fi movie, like a sci-fi channel movie with a fucking $100 million budget. Like, hey, let's do a sci-fi channel movie, but let's just throw all the money into it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just the vibe I got because I'm like, this is a really good idea. I feel as if they've rushed all of this, though. I feel as if you did this, and it was like, or a mini series, where you had like 6 45-minute episodes or something like that to really make because. If the characters meant more to me, I felt like I'd been way more invested in the finale because I would have been like, oh well, because it's a big moment for him and his dad to be working together, but it just kind of felt like they had to get there, as opposed to like it happened, But him and his daughter, like their bonding, that was one of the cooler parts of the movie as far as characterization.
Mr. Soft Serve over here, about to have a daughter.
That was good.
I think if you didn't realize that was his daughter almost immediately, though, even though they like try to not tell you for a little while.
Oh, they're not subtle. There's nothing subtle in this movie.
There was some things there. I think that one, it was just obvious.
This movie's like
there was, I don't know why. I understand like some kind of time traveling thing or whatever it was. Where she didn't want him to know, or at least not right away, or whatever. Who knows what the motivation was, but yeah, it should have just right away said, "I'm your daughter,
yeah,
Colonel, whatever."
Yeah,
and he's like,
because at that point she knows that they're like days away from being extinct. So you figured she'd cut through all the fucking pleasantries and just be like, "Yeah, this is that. Yeah, we get over it. Here's what I need you for," kind of thing. They could have got right into that. Did you get the feeling that this is the kind of movie that would have been radically crazier if another person directed it? I kept watching it going like, if Zack Snyder had directed this movie...
Well, then it would have been nonsensical.
Oh no! Is that a Wild AJ?
It is. I'm going to give him the button.
He's getting the button!
He probably wants.
No, we can't bring him on because he's not going to talk about any of this stuff. He's going to want to talk about New York stuff.
Yeah,
and being Italian and fat.
Yeah, I'm going to turn the ringer off. Yeah.
Is he? Are you guys on your journey back to, smallness?
No. He's in New York right now. He's feeding his face.
Oh, dude, he's having the best.
And I'm
food.
I'm eating all of the food Bobby sent me.
Oh, the Bobby fund.
Like I have 3 tapeworms.
You're like the kid Sally Struthers. Had infomercials for.
Yeah. So we pretty much knew that was his daughter right off the bat.
Yeah, it's not. It's pretty. It's not ham-fisted, but they don't hide anything.
My big complaint was like, I really had the complaint of like, why didn't they just mass produce whatever the toxin was for the aliens and just wait?
Yeah.
I mean, aerosol, and then in the meantime, you can aerosolize it or whatever whatever that word is, so that it's just in the air. So it's almost like War of the Worlds.
You know how
it just takes like a day and a half before they get the sniffles.
What basically should have happened is they should have taken that as the miracle and went, oh my God, get this to fucking the CDC or whatever and start going like that, and then at the end when they're all kind of like sitting back and just kind of reflecting over it, they have the epiphany of like, oh my God, what if the ship's here? And it's like, oh fuck. Well, now the sequel would take place, finding this location, all that shit they did after that.
It had like a bit of that Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're digging in the wrong place kind of thing.
Yeah. At that moment on, everything fell in place way too conveniently.
Yeah.
It was like, come on, man. These aliens legitimately ended human civilization. And you're just going to go, oh, we found them. Oh, they're dead.
I'm surprised that every nation was willing to like have a draft and just send people to the future for 7 days.
No.
Especially after that first wave or two came back where 30% of them come back.
So what 100%, I turned my brain off for this movie because I knew I had to.
You have to for most of them.
Because...
that's not a big ask for a sci-fi movie.
Well, especially for something like this, I knew I had to turn my brain off. But if you want to get into it, that's the dumbest, most ridiculous thing ever. Hey, we're from the future. Okay. Let's just start sending people off and they get slaughtered and die.
That was bang, bang, bang. So it's there was no like they didn't spend time verifying. Although I guess when people
a longer explanation would have helped.
I guess when people appear out of a fucking portal in the middle of like the World Cup or whatever that is, I'd say they're from the future and they have technology that doesn't exist today. Maybe it's kind of believable.
You know what's funny?
What?
If they went to the portal and they just ended up in like the swamps in fucking like Louisville or something or Louisiana, and then they find the first people like, hey, we're time travelers. You gotta.
It's much nicer that they arrived in a nice place.
Yeah.
When Pratt goes, he gets dropped, 200 feet above a high rise.
Oh my god! When they
that was the most exciting thing in the whole movie, I think. Was that fall?
That first alien reveal and that whole scene.
Everything in Miami, I think, was cool.
Yeah, yes, everything in Miami was cool.
Even and then the second when they're trying to catch the queen bug, I mean that whole scene, including kind of like where the geography of it is and the look of it, was 1,000%. Like Starship Troopers looking for the brain bug. I mean, it was like
I told you. There's nothing. Everything's very literal in this movie. They're like, hey, remember that movie you really liked? Well, we're gonna do this scene from it, and take this from it for our story. And I'm fine with it. It was cool. The siege on Deep Sea Nine.
No, not Deep Sea Nine. That was Waterworld.
Okay, the siege on Waterworld?
That I mean, as soon as they like flew into it or whatever, the first shot where you see what like it from the outside.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking Waterworld here. Like patchwork fucking like a giant, I don't know, not mining rig, but kind of like if you were to slap like 20 mining rigs together in the middle of the ocean.
It's some cruise ships.
It's kind of cool. It was like a cool idea, although I like the idea of everyone was on cruise ships and these battleships and these destroyers and all this stuff, but then where their headquarters isn't mobile on the water. It's just there with a giant wall around it, which was all like completely ineffective once the aliens decided they wanted to swim.
And they did. See, that's the thing. It's like, did they even decide to swim, or did they just run over each other, and like by the millions? Because that's what it felt like. It felt like they just like ants swarming. No,
they swam in, but it
was kind of that was fucking like, god damn, like that's some terrifying shit, man. Because by that point of the movie, I was in, man. I really enjoyed that part of the movie, which is why, like, when she dies and the whole thing, and then he goes back in the future from the falling, and he lands. I'm like, holy fuck!
So here's the thing: they weren't really even expecting to win the war with soldiers and stuff. They were just buying time.
Yes.
And needed bodies to throw at her.
Correct.
It was all about this like magical pill she was trying to develop,
or
injectable or whatever. So I was trying to understand. They started jumping back at a certain point and bringing people forward, and they did like 7-day tours. But that was linear. Like every time you went back and got people, it was from later in their time.
That's what it felt like.
So they were running out of time to be able to even do that.
Yeah.
I kind of get it. It sort of makes sense. It's explained. It's not really explained very well, but it wasn't like you couldn't keep going from like. My point is, you couldn't keep bringing people to even though you were getting them bit by bit. You couldn't bring them to one time and overwhelm the aliens with all of your people. They were coming and so did they ever explain? Did I nod off? Or did they ever explain why they were like 6 days on, and on the 7th day, aliens were on the Sabbath or something and just disappeared and you didn't see them?
They said like they take Sundays off or some shit. They did say they were dormant.
They had to
went
go
underground.
sit on their chargers or something.
Yeah, some shit like that. And they didn't explain it. Ben, that would be a thing that would help make things make sense. You know,
maybe in part 2.
What got me was and the reason why the second act's my favorite act was because when he gets there and she says, "Oh well, you left like you said, FML, peace," you know. And when he got back, and he's like, "I would never do that." And I was like, man, they're going to have a hard time convincing me that when he gets back to the future, he's going to be that guy. Dude, by the time he fucking materialized back, I was like, holy shit, I don't understand. I would not blame you if you dropped everything and said, fuck the world.
Well, if he, I guess, was it that he came back that first time without the antidote? Or didn't work out with some people where these aliens were and then like spent his time looking or something? They didn't explain that.
Yeah.
Why he disappeared. And then all of a sudden is in a car accident and dies.
Because the third act had ended there with them looking like, oh my God, the aliens must be here. That's the next big thing. And now you understand why he comes back and then just disappears. Because that whole second movie, man, you could do a 10-year time jump or some shit, you know, of them trying to like you want to make it seem.
But if you end it there, they still won. He came back with the serum.
But now he's haunted by what happened, and he is determined to stop this before it does.
But he did. He brought the serum back.
But then the movie ends with them finding out, them realizing that the aliens are here now. But it's a matter of where, and him. But then him going crazy and spinning.
But my point is, it doesn't matter.
Not now because they fucking did what they did. They rushed to the finish line.
No. But I'm saying once he came back with the serum, it didn't matter if they were here in our time. You just create a bunch of darts and shoot them at the fucking thing.
That's
when they come out.
But then
you don't get overrun.
Yeah. But I would have liked it more if he thought, like, if he was consumed with the idea.
If he came back, and when they pried open his hand, the vial was broken, then you're in the vicious cycle.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Then you're in the vicious cycle.
That would have been crazy.
That
would have been awesome.
Then you're in your repeating circle of death. You know what I mean?
And that's why he just, that would have worked
And then the second movie is why he went off.
The whole movie for the MacGuffin.
It's him and his dad.
Yeah. Oh, nice. A fucking J.K. Simmons, Chris Pratt.
And maybe Volcano Boy, because I liked Volcano Boy. He had a certain swag to him. You knew. Like, it was so early in the movie. Mm-hmm. And this kid was so obsessed with volcanoes. And they made such a point to let you know how obsessed this kid was with volcanoes.
You knew there was going to be called back on, yeah.
That's why when the scientist, the funny one that you didn't like, introduced himself and they had a little discussion about what they do, I'm like, why do we need to know this guy's profession unless it's going to be relevant? Yeah. You know, like Pratt served. Yeah. Pratt was combat ready, had led men, and they needed him because
and that's another
these
thing.
People were rushed into it.
They don't ever really go too far into that. You just know he served.
Yeah.
And
is it? But I mean, what does he have a flashback to a regular combat in like Mosul that has nothing? What is he just
not
so you can? So they show a flanking maneuver that he uses later on or something?
Not in this movie. Not in this movie. No.
It wouldn't work.
No. I'm not looking for... I was only looking forward to what I saw. And it was whatever. It was fun, I suppose. Like I said, I got aggravated at the end, but they kind of drew me back because J.K. Simmons is so awesome.
They definitely ripped off. They ripped off the Thing.
Oh, fuck yeah.
With the buried ship.
Yes.
And being buried gazillions of years in the past.
Same with Aliens and Predators.
They ripped off Aliens, and they ripped off Starship Troopers. Those are the three. I think Aliens, it was more like the combat stuff and the although you know what, it was more Starship Troopers. Those aliens had the feel of those aliens more, and you know the little like future tech that they had to fight them. It felt more like
overall the movie felt way more Starship Troopers. Yeah, no, I
there
agree.
were some aliens like
it was like they took
it's like
but
I can't remember what
they took like 10 14-year-old fucking nerds, put them in a room, like make a sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
you know, and then they just professionally edited that down and made this. And look, man, it was fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like if you gave it this. No, it was like if you took an AI and gave them
what are those auto-generated?
Gave them those other 3 movies and said make a movie, and here's the scripts from these 3 or here's the watch these 3 movies and here's Chris Pratt. Now go make your movie.
He got a Velociraptor claw.
Yeah,
somehow he had a Velociraptor claw.
Well, there was I mean.
Ben, that was a Velociraptor claw. It wasn't a creature claw.
I'm saying I don't know. I guess you're just making a Jurassic Park joke. I thought you were saying
I feel like the idea is he grabbed one of the creature's claws, but it really looked like the raptor claw. And I think even if that's a little funny thing we find later on about that, but it was very evident. I was like, they threw it in there. All right, he got a little bit of.
Felt like they'd have bigger claws.
Well, compared to the fucking creatures, you know, their claws are small. Because those fucking creatures were like, what, 10, 12 feet fucking
That's
tall?
what I'm saying. They should have had bigger claws.
Well, didn't the one black guy had the one he carried around, and they got the DNA off of it.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm saying
that was a big claw.
I don't remember.
They kind of, the creatures acted to me a lot like the Thanos' aliens in game. The ravenous fucking.
I think there was a little more thought to them.
Maybe
they employed a little more thought.
Not at the end. They didn't.
Well, individually, they're like stalking, looking around things, and systematically like looking over the. They were specifically looking for him and her.
Yeah.
They're looking down each aisle as they're walking down a corridor or something. No, they were doing like a systematic sweep. I think there might be obviously some link to the Queen, like in Aliens and like in Starship Troopers with the brain bugs.
I was half expecting the pilot of the ship to be looking like one of the engineers from the fucking Alien franchise. It kind of, they listen. There was a lot of tongue in cheek. It was whatever, man. It was whatever. I guess they're gonna make a second one, so I guess
there's no guess.
I guess it's no better or worse than movies like Independence Day and shit, where they're just nice big dumb movies and you have fun with them.
I think the difference with a lot of movies when you compare them to Independence Day is that Independence Day did something very clever. They wrapped it around a holiday.
Yeah.
So it's like the movie never gets old. I think there's like I don't remember who I was listening to the other day. They were talking about they were talking about some sci-fi stuff on their podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, I was doing my yearly watching of Independence Day on the 4th, and this is a guy that really is picky about shit he watches, but he'll watch Independence Day every year. Wrapping something around like a holiday makes your movie a little more of a instant classic, timeless kind of thing. Maybe not timeless, but a tradition. It makes it a tradition. And
remember 2012 wrapped it around a stupid event?
And but not a real one.
Exactly.
Yeah. But if that was a real one, we wouldn't be watching anything.
Although there's probably people still in bunkers and weird places in like Wyoming and shit that
but like that and I mean, I think it helps Die Hard that it's a Christmas movie, and
thank you,
and the other ones,
Die Hard is a Christmas movie,
and then the other ones around the 4th of July also that they did one the
4th one,
yeah, the 3rd one was during the summer too, but it wasn't. I don't think
There were. I don't think there were any
I think
holidays.
the first two were just
the first two. The first two were Christmas movies.
Yeah.
The third one is just a random day in fucking New York, and the fourth one's on the 4th of July weekend, and the fifth one doesn't exist to me because that movie was terrible.
There's some fun stuff in it. It's in Russia.
That's when Bruce Willis became John McClane.
You know what I noticed that Bruce Willis must have gotten such a terrible reputation in the business because no one hires him to do a real movie anymore. But I'll see now that he's had like I don't know a good 10 to 15 years in like big studio exile. I see like you go on like all these streaming services. There's all these Bruce Willis movies. He's literally becoming like a Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
He's churning out movies, but no one's ever fucking heard of them. They don't get it out. They don't go to the theaters, and no one watches them. They're like C-level movies.
Yeah, I don't watch.
I don't even know if they're. I doubt he's even getting paid real money anymore. I think he's just doing them to stay busy.
It really sucks, man. I love John McClane, but
he did something. Because there are
dude, what he did with the shit he pulled with fucking during the Expendables. Oh, you want to piss off fucking Stallone and Schwarzenegger and all those guys, bro? They'll fucking bury you, man. Stop.
And that wasn't even a big studio movie.
No,
that's like a Euro funded thing.
No, but like, God, dude, like he was friends with all the heavy hitters, and he pissed them all off in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
And then of course, Mel Gibson, he got Oh no, not Mel Gibson. Fucking
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, yeah.
Well, they did. That was a spite thing.
Yeah. Oh, that was because he did it for like half. No, they paid him.
They paid him more money.
What they were going to pay.
Yeah.
That's right. It was a spite thing. So yeah, that's what happened to fucking Bruce Willis.
Well, there's that.
He pissed off Rocky.
The only other stories I hear about him being a problem was from Kevin Smith.
Oh, the infamous rants.
Cop Out.
Yeah.
They made Cop Out. That apparently was just such a pain in the ass to work with.
Admittedly, they're very funny stories.
Yeah.
Even if they do paint Bruce Willis as a fucking psychopath.
I mean, not a psycho. Not like. I mean, it's like he was beating his wife and.
No, he's just a professional psychopath.
And I don't know. It's all just professional bullshit.
Do you know who isn't a professional psychopath? You know who's a really cool dude? Tom Hiddleston.
I knew you were forcing that heavy-handed transition.
I know, we don't know what the fuck we were talking about. We needed to get back on the track. We need to get back on track.
Clunky.
It's not all gold, Daddy.
Let's get into it.
All right. Holy fuck.
I think in the progression of episodes, I'm pretty close to saying that each subsequent episode until the next one came out was my new favorite.
Yeah. This was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Classic Loki had one of the best moments that I've seen in a long time of like a Marvel character having.
Yeah.
Like that was awesome. I didn't know.
So those four.
They were that powerful.
So those four, 2012 variant.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Loki, Kid Loki, and Alligator Loki. I'm not going to count Sylvie because she's kind of like not really a Loki. But those four are the only Lokis in a world of Lokis. And it's not really supposed to be a world of Lokis. I think some people are like, well, maybe Mobius is a Loki. I don't think everyone... They're just good at surviving. There's obviously a Thor in a jar. He didn't die. There's, it's just...
Thor... Hold on.
Well,
not just any Thor in a jar.
We can get back to that. But my point was that, like...
We will talk of Throg.
Those four are the only four Lokis that have decided to become something other than what the mold is supposed to be. Every other Loki...
Who follows President Loki.
Is, like, still betraying every chance they can get.
It's fantastic.
And, and these four, as they're leaving that battle royale, are bitching. All four of them are like, well, I mean, maybe the alligator isn't, but like
in his own way,
Kid Loki has a line, and Classic Loki, is ranting about how like always with this bullshit. We never anytime we try and get better, blah blah blah.
My greater purpose.
Yeah, but he said it mockingly. When he was stomping out of there. I don't even know where. All right, go ahead, talk about your Thunder Frog. But I mean, it was such a quick thing. I read that they had filmed some stuff.
It was Hemsworth's voice.
Yeah,
but
I heard that they'd filmed some like frog stuff and they cut it.
Oh,
I don't know what he was gonna do. He was gonna fight a Loki or something, but I'm just glad we got him in any capacity because it's so ridiculous. I'm still not sure if they're trying to push like a romance between Sylvie and Loki.
It's some kind of weird self-love, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, other than the fact that they're all, even those side variants that kind of teamed up with him, are all kind of like are still evolving. Because classic Loki, even, and this is like there's like a couple of things where he's like, when he runs to go see them when the pizza car pulls up, he's like, is he being brave or cowardly? He still hasn't figured it out yet. When he has that conversation with Mobius is like, he's like, you can just change what you've been doing this whole time? Like he still didn't get it, but he did by the end of the episode where he just decided instead of walking away to help them.
Yeah.
What do you think about, who do you think's going to be in this castle? Because the more I keep thinking it's Kang, the more I don't think it's Kang.
Yeah, it's not Kang.
It can't be because it won't mean anything to anyone.
Here's the problem.
It has to have a meaning.
We've watched 5 episodes of these characters. To me, it could only be 3 people.
It has to mean something to them, right?
It can only be. It can either be Ravonna, which is because she's kind of the villain, kind of not. She kind of knows, kind of doesn't.
Not the way she was kind of asking questions of B-15.
Yeah, it that's the far off one. It's everyone's pick would be another Loki.
Yeah.
Or what I kind of think it might be is Mobius. Or a Mobius, like the Mobius.
I mean, you're just basically picking
because these are characters that we've been watching and we've seen, and there's things that we can call back on. You can't just have Kang come out of a door because most people won't know who the fuck that is.
What if it was our main character of this story, Loki, but like 1,000 years in the future, but he never had this experience?
Yeah, it could be something like that.
Something weird like that. Where it's literally him, not a variant of him, but literally. I mean, technically it's all a variant.
Yeah, exactly. They're all,
but it's like the closest
technically him.
Because ideally, you're almost saying that like classic Loki is the closest to what the 2012 Loki was, because they ended up in that same spot, face to face with Thanos, and it's just that I don't use knives. I fucking made an illusion. Which almost drops a hint that maybe that version.
I think that's what that was about.
You think you think he is the end game of the Infinity War Loki?
Very much.
And that all that we saw was fake, was illusion.
I mean, it's Loki, man.
Yeah.
They've pushed one thing for 5 straight episodes. You just never know with Lokis.
See, here's the thing. If it's not Kang, which at this point I agree with like a couple people who said it shouldn't be because it won't mean anything.
It won't mean anything.
You still got to introduce
the name.
Like he's got to be the post credit.
The name hasn't even been mentioned.
Almost like the Thanos, fine, I'll do it myself thing.
Yeah, I can see something like that. But he's in the time. And here's the thing. Okay, so 2 things. Marvel finally got Deadly Cloud and Sky right. The fuck, what's the creature's name? I can't. Fuck, off the top of my head.
Alien or something.
Yeah, Elion.
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 That has special significance this week down here. Alien. Anyone who's a South Florida resident knows that name from 30 years ago.
So yeah, Alien or whatever,
Alien
or
Gonzalez,
Eliath, or whatever the fucking cloud.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome, and I love the idea. It's like, oh well, because dude, I don't remember all this shit from fucking being refreshed now. I'm like, oh wow, they made a giant death cloud. They made it,
I don't remember that from the comics. I've read a lot of comics. I don't remember that.
Well, I don't know, but that's really obscure shit. Like, I would never read time variants or none of that nonsense. So I would never have read that as a kid. I just wasn't stuff I was into.
No, it would have been an Avengers. It was probably an Avengers book. But a lot of that, like, fucking 19... What would that have been, like 70s or 80s Avengers?
That's a callback, man.
Well, I mean, it should be.
But that was done really well. And
there's callbacks all through the show. But I mean, this one they had fun with. I mean, throwing a fucking Thanos copter in there.
Oh,
from like Spidey's super stories, and then they brought it back in another book later because whoever the writer was remembered the ridiculousness of it from Spidey Super
Let's
Stories.
revisit that.
Whatever. Yeah.
The Living Tribunal.
I think Spidey Super Stories, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, was literally it was a different Spider-Man comic. It was the one about the Spider-Man in the Electric Company. Remember that show?
Oh my God. Vaguely, yes.
Okay. The Electric Company, which was like a Sesame Street-y, Great Space Coaster type of show, they had licensed Spider-Man in it. And so they had vignettes with Spider-Man, like, not every episode or whatever. I vividly remember as a kid, there was one episode of Spider-Man in the Electric Company where there was like a Yeti. And because he liked cold things, Spider-Man had to try and lure the Yeti, like, somewhere. So he would leave it was like, instead of M&Ms for E.T., it was snow cones. But the Yeti wasn't eating them. He was sitting on them.
Oh, my God.
They were like paper cups with snow cones in them with like colored shaved ice kind of thing. And the Yeti would walk, sit on it, keep walking, sit on the next one.
Oh my
It was
God.
the most ridiculous thing.
Jesus Christ.
My fucking childhood.
If only we can get Tom Holland to reenact that would be amazing.
That was my educational. That was how I learned how to read, watching shit like that. Yeah. So I think that fucking comic was like not like in the same story as the rest of the comic. The rest of the comics are being pressed every month. It was literally like these side Spider-Man stories that were for the Electric Company kind of character. So it was a little different. Just like the news strip is like it's kind of written on its own.
Yeah.
For years and years, that news strip comic was just, Romita and Stan Lee writing something a little bit different. But
so yeah, they had the what did I say? Oh yeah, the fucking Living Tribunal fucking head, which that's just everyone.
Did you see that?
It was just in the Wastelands.
The big head?
Yeah.
No, that was Yellow Jacket helmet.
No. There was also a Living Tribunal head.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Then there was Thanos' ship and
like
Ronin's ship.
I saw a saucer. I didn't know what kind of.
Yeah, I don't know if any significance to that.
Was
yeah, I think that was just a generic flying saucer.
And I was wondering, because I made a assumptive leap, that one of the first things we come across is like a pirate ship thing. And I thought maybe that was, I think one of the early versions of Kang, or maybe it was when he was Immortus in the comics, I think was a Fantastic Four issue where they ended up, like, Ben Grimm was like a Blackbeard the pirate type character on it. Like he had a beard and a patch and a hat and everything. And it was kind of a pirate issue kind of deal. I want to say that's probably from that, but who knows? That other ship,
the USS
was that like a destroyer?
That
or
was
something?
Philadelphia Experiment.
Yeah.
Which I popped for because I watched Philadelphia Experiment as a kid. Like I loved that movie as a kid, and I don't think I've fucking seen it since. But that popped up. I'm like, oh shit!
Yeah,
I get that.
But
I get that reference.
But that showed that this isn't a place just for dumping Lokis.
Yeah,
it's just
everything.
It's
dumps
just that
here.
Lokis don't get eaten as quickly as other things, as other people do, I guess.
Yeah,
because they survive.
Yeah, Loki survived.
Yeah.
Loki survived. That's their big character trait.
Yeah.
Their other apparently is self-love.
Well, no, not really. this is such an aberration that it created a branch on the timeline that no one had ever fucking seen before.
By the way, is it masturbation if they fuck?
It might be.
It's
whatever,
weird.
man.
I wonder if Marvel will go there if they'll cop out.
It's incest.
And you'll find out that
masturbation.
she's not a frost giant like he is, or some shit like that.
I think he's not a frost giant once
He's
he
totally a frost giant.
No. Once you decide to be like, I think it's just like he gave that up to be an Asgardian. It's one of those like wink things. It's like because frost giants aren't gods.
No.
Is he a god of something? Is he an Asgardian god or is he a frost giant?
And see, we never really got those.
I think
they've been very loose with all that mythology.
I mean,
very loose.
But they call him Lawface's son, so he's adopted in. But
he's adopted. I guess that.
But frost giants don't get cold and have to make a blanket for themselves either.
No, but he didn't do that.
So I think maybe he had.
That's a little bit flirtatious there.
No, because he didn't. He did it for himself first, and then when she saw it, he then offered it. If he was being flirtatious, he would just put one on her.
Oh, you're going for the story aspect of Loki heart growing in front of us, like 3 sizes.
No,
like
I'm saying
Grinch?
like you're like making a blanket was because he was cold.
I understand.
It wasn't for any other reason.
I think he had it. Loki's never do anything for no reason.
Well, unless it's a selfish reason.
It's always a selfish reason. That's the catch.
There you go. You're making my point for me.
I don't know, man. I honestly, it could be. Marvel's yet to stray too far off what we've already seen in all these other shows. WandaVision was a perfect example of that. Nothing straight off the crazy beaten path in the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, every time you think it's going to be something,
it's not.
It's not.
So it's within the realm of the characters that we have already seen and been interacting with. It's most likely another Loki or that Loki from the. It's going to be something paradoxical like that, or it's going to be like.
Although they dropped so many hints, even like the name on the Avengers Tower
with gang.
Yeah.
No, they've dropped a lot of hints, but that's all they've done is drop sly hints.
I mean, but Ravonna is the girlfriend of Kang. I mean, they're not.
But Ben,
they're pretty heavy-handed. It's not like the Mephisto thing where we just created that.
But as a regular person, we never saw Mephisto because they never mentioned him in the show. Kang's name has never been mentioned for 5 straight episodes, almost 4.5 hours of runtime. He's not going to just suddenly appear.
Yeah, but how many time-related villains are there in the Marvel Universe?
I agree with you. It should be Kang, but we've got nothing but these sly references here and there spattered around of Kang's mythology and empire, but no reference, no suggestion, no characters even thought to go down that path or thought. It's all been wrapped around Loki's.
They could get away with it if this was like a double-length episode. Like if this was like at like 90 minutes or 2 hours, they could probably.
If you introduce him in the beginning of it, yes.
Yeah.
Or at least you introduce the concept of him at the beginning of it, and at the end is the reveal, which will lead into Quantumania.
Yeah. Well, it leads into a lot of things.
But I just think it's really telling because when they asked Jonathan Majors, his reaction, in the video I saw, when he was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was he didn't know what the guy was talking about.
Yeah.
Because he's probably he signed on to do this role, but Quantumania hasn't even started filming yet. He's still removed from the, once that movie starts filming.
People can pretend.
I agree, but
actors can act.
I don't know how much of a fan he is of all of this, or if this is just an acting role for him.
It wouldn't matter if he's if you're if anyone says anything, you don't know nothing.
Well, see, I don't know him well enough as an actor to know with what I saw was a put. It didn't seem it put on the guy I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
He was in that Lovecraft Country thing. It was really good.
No, there's another thing we've been talking about. I've yet to watch Lovecraft Country because it's just one of the many things that have come out, and I just haven't got around to watching.
Well, stop. A little less of watching people play video games, and a little more of original content.
That's original content.
It's not.
I've been, I keep.
It's the most bizarre thing watching people play.
I
video
don't.
Games.
We don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore.
No, we kicked that habit. But I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've been. Here's one that's got me: is the Bobby Lee, the Bad Friends podcast. Fuck! Oh my God! Who's the ginger guy?
Andrew Santino.
Yeah,
he's in a show called Dave.
Those two.
That show called Dave is really fucking funny.
Santino's really fucking entertaining. Him and Bobby Lee together are really entertaining. So I've been catching on to that. So and then I'm working on my planes or I'm fucking preparing for this baby. So I don't really have now once the baby's born, well, plenty of time to sit down and watch shit, and I'll probably catch up on a lot of content because it'll just be sitting there holding the baby.
Baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we got the season finale of Loki. We got to talk about Black Widow. We got a lot coming up.
A lot of Marvel shit.
Yeah, well, go
watch something that's on Marvel shit.
It's all like there's nothing out there.
No, but I'm saying.
Oh,
we already watched Black Widow.
Yeah.
Loki's an hour.
Loki's tomorrow.
Go find another hour of something to watch and let me know what it was and I'll watch it.
Oh man, you're making me fucking.
Well, I'd do it, but then you didn't. But then you said Kevin said that was no good.
No, expanding my horizons is something very difficult. I have a hard time, Ben. I have a hard time.
Well, next year we're gonna start our Friday Night Lights podcast.
Oh my fucking God! I more
every month.
No,
we'll do 4 episodes.
Oh my God!
4 podcasts on each episode.
This is a weird vanity project of yours.
Of each listen,
you know no one's gonna listen to that. You just want to see me.
You would be surprised.
That squirm through that.
That has a solid 5 seasons of fandom. That's behind it.
It's great, and everything that needs to be said about that show's probably been said.
I don't think so. Podcasts weren't big back when.
I definitely don't think that I have a kind of unique perspective on this.
I don't think you know what you know.
Fair enough.
I saw Titans was coming out on TNT or TBS or something. Season 1 that I think everyone saw.
Yeah.
3 years ago. I think season 3 is about to come out, isn't it? That's DC. All we do is talk about comic book shows and comic book movies.
Well, what else do you want to talk about, buddy?
We'll have to fucking figure that out.
I mean,
I feel
this is their Nerdcast. I could talk about my RC planes if you want, but no one's going to fucking listen to that shit.
Well, we'll have to...
Or a podcast about that.
We'll have to find something once Loki's done. Before What If starts. All right.
I forgot about What If. All right, man. Let's get the fuck out of here. I gotta go get fucking food.
All right.
Okay, bye.